Okay, everybody, it is straight up 1:30 my time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know several of you said you're going to view. Hopefully, you'll be able to get in. Um, I'm doing this from Mesquite, Texas right now, and it is pouring down rain. So hopefully the power doesn't go down, and as long as it doesn't, we'll be okay. I'll also share this all out to our group, or the groups I know many of us are part of together, and we'll go from there. Running this on my Blue Yeti, so hopefully sound check levels are good. I tried to make sure I'm not blowing you away, but hopefully you can hear everything. Just a couple things. Kind of while people are still trying to get in, just wanted to let you know a few things about me, in case anyone cares. My name is Buck Baskin. I actually started out teaching special education, math, social studies, and then math, and then I moved into career and technology. Just because I realized with the kids I was working with, I felt like I could, do a lot better service to them, teaching real world skills like entrepreneurship, coding, things like that. So I also am an instructional technology specialist now. That's my official title, but being in a smaller school district, I wear many, many hats. And I'm also my free time web developer in PHP, MySQL, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Recently, and I'm not lying about this just for the hangout, my hobby has really become pushing Google Apps for Education to its limits. As I started to discover add-ons and app scripts, just kind of really the spirit that I started putting into our school is if something doesn't exist, can we build it, and can we build it inside of Google? Because I know I could go outside and build these applications, especially like in PHP, and build them pretty quickly. But if you do it within Google, if you've got secretaries, teachers using these things, they don't have to go learn another login, another system, know how to access a database, all that kind of stuff. It, basically runs off spreadsheets and things like that. So that's kind of been my continued attitude in the direction my school's going in. And so I just want to show you some of the add-ons I've developed, give you a quick overview, because I promised I would keep this under 30 minutes. I may be able to keep it under 15. And then we'll go from there. Okay. So the add-ons, basically there's 5 I told you that I built. One is a Drive portfolio manager that allows you to manage student portfolios kind of from one central location. The other one's a grading companion that goes with that. I'll talk about those last because that's kind of the big one that sort of worked on and had tested out for a long time, got the kinks worked out. There's an event check-in alert system that we use. There's a Sheets messenger system, and then also an inventory management system. Some of you may be able to pop out later and tell me, hey, sorry, this already exists, but I kind of dug through and pretty much every time we come up with an idea, or I come up with an idea, I'm like, okay, do I need to build it? I go, I dig, I look, and either it doesn't exist or there's features that it didn't have. So basically pretty sure all this is, new and unique. The first thing I want to show you about is the event check-in system. Went ahead, just did some screenshots just to make sure everything runs pretty smoothly. And again, for the sake of time. So basically what happens is parents are alerted by email and text when their students arrive and leave an event. I'll tell you the backstory about how each of these things happen. So basically, prom, it's a crazy night. Parents are concerned, especially in a smaller town, and they want to know where kids are when they got there. And so basically what I built is it's a form, and students have to match up the name, the parent's email address, and then their student ID number. Once they do that, the submit button actually appears. And then once they submit, it actually keeps a time log on the spreadsheet of, when they arrived. But the parent also receives an email and a text alert immediately to let them know they showed up. And then they drop into the checkout form. When it's time for them to leave, same process, parents get alerted again. The other thing that it does is it adds a log of the history of when they checked in and checked out, because obviously it's going to change and things like that. So that way you've got that history. So come Monday, and so really all these, it's about saving time, helping administrators, but also parent communication, student safety. So that's one of them one add-on that I built. And the nice thing is our secretary at the high school did this, and she collected all the information from the students, and therefore was able to run it basically pretty simple because it was all on a spreadsheet. And so she could see it, understand it, work it. Again, that user friendliness. It does require carrier information, which most kids know. And if they don't, we can find it and verify it. Some of you may already have it through other systems. It right now it has US and Canada carriers, but always am open to learning about other countries just in general, but especially to add those carriers because most of them I can get the information from. So that's one thing that we built. And again, it's been great. Our parents loved it. They've been really excited. Also an inventory management system. We have a theater teacher who's got scripts that she likes to check out. And so she wants to be able to keep track of them. Also, supplies, but also other teachers and friends wanted to be able to borrow staging and different things like that. Well, it's hard to keep track of it, ever know if it's hers. And so we kicked around some things and looking at other systems, and they're either expensive or they're hard to use. You got to buy a barcode gun, things like that. And so basically what happens with this system is the add-on sets up the spreadsheet, and the teacher goes in and puts in the title, the quantity that they have in place, and lets the system know is it consumable or not. And if you want to, it also has the location. And from there, it generates QR codes. Now, it puts the QR codes on the spreadsheet, but it also generates a Google Doc because we've got a science teacher who, let me back up. The theater teacher want to be able to print, cut the QR codes, tape them on to the foots of things and things like that, so she really knows what was what. The science teacher is like, well, I mainly have teachers coming to a central location to check things out, take them all over campus. And so she just wanted to be able to put it over in the binder and have the check-in and check-out code right there. And so what it does is it brings up the form, they put everything in, they submit it. It will update the quantities. Then when they come back, there's also a checkout form that looks very similar, but there's also comments at the bottom because, maybe something's missing for a reason, or they might want to know that we're getting low on this, or we're going to need it again, things like that. And so it does the QR codes for check-in, check-out. It creates a history log of once something's checked back in, there's a history log of who had it and when. So if you need to go back and go, okay, at some point this broke, at some point this came up missing, what happened? You didn't leave me any notes. The other thing it does with the consumable is basically it updates the quantities accordingly. If it's some type of chemical, obviously if you pour out some kind of liquid, I haven't taken chemistry in a long time. If you pour out some kind of liquid, you're not getting it back. And so it's going to update the quantities accordingly and fix the total that's actually still available, like in the system period. And so that's something else that we did. Very user-friendly. It can be used district-wide. We're looking into maybe using it for textbooks and some other things. Because honestly, I don't know if y'all are like us. We have like a system we kind of pay for through our region service center that offers us a lot of features. I get it. It's great. But it's 2016 now, and any way we can cut costs is awesome. So, anything we can do to basically kind of manage that to make it more user-friendly and to have something that not just we as, administrators can use and technology heads can use, but also that our teachers and students can use is awesome. So there's the inventory management system. The third thing that I built is a Sheets messenger system. Basically, a lot of communication, y'all know, is vital, be it for weather, upcoming events, things like that. And thanks to technology and smartphones, we can do it pretty quickly now, which is exciting. So this will actually send out mass HTML email, meaning you can style it, add images, all those kinds of things, bullet points. So basically like an HTML newsletter, and you can send that out. It'll also send text messages, all from a Google Sheet. So the Google Sheet, basically, if you think about it, basically that's your database, and then the form pops up. I had to kind of crop off part of the form, but you can see that you can choose text message, subject, and then the HTML forms down there for the email if that's what you're going to do. You can choose whether to send both messages, a text and an email, and send them up once, because we do that. Or maybe you're just sending a weekly email newsletter out and you just want to choose email. You'll notice that there's also contact groups. You can actually add sheets, and each sheet that you add, the add-on recognizes as a contact group. And so as you can see, if you've got a parents group, a students group, high school group, middle school group, just football, things like that. There's also opt-in and opt-out forms. One, this helps you gather the information that you need. But two, I know for us, and I don't know if this is federal legislation or some state or local legislation, we have to give people the opportunity to opt in or opt out of their messaging. And so I went ahead and built that in. And so it will generate the opt-in and opt-out forms that you can distribute either at the bottom of your emails if you want to tweet that out. If someone just emails you, I know I get emails all the time that says, hey, can you get me out of the system? Well, you could just send them the link and they put in their info. So great way to market, great way to do those things. And the cool thing is, there's all these systems out there, but they go down. And granted, Google could go down, but I think we all know Google goes down, we're all in trouble. So anyways, it's, running off Google's power, Google's server. So we found there's better message delivery, faster message delivery. less bouncing, all that kind of stuff. And so it's been great for us. The other thing is communication and accountability. That idea of, we've got coaches and teachers that need to communicate. And I get there's lots of tools out there, but we've kind of been rethinking that. And so, since it comes from their account, it shows up in the sent folders, if we need to go check and go, hey, kind of what's going on, what's the history, things like that. So it's been good for us. And then, working on other ways to tweak it and get reports and things like that. So that's the other thing. So there's the inventory management system that's been useful. And again, all this stuff's great because it works at the district level or teacher levels. The Sheets Messenger and then the event alert system, like I said, our parents have loved. The two biggest things that I've worked on and I'm most excited about is one's the Drive Portfolio Manager. I couldn't do full screenshots of everything it does, but basically we realized, we want a writing portfolio system. A writing portfolio that follows our kids from K through 12. I know some of y'all have gone beyond writing and just said kids need portfolios that they can take with them when they leave. The issue we ran into was, how do we do it? And I know there are tools out there. Some of them actually called me because they heard about this. And I'm like, well, we like yours, but there's usually something missing and things weren't thought through. We also considered doing some things to Google Classroom. The issue with Classroom is that it creates assignment folders and things like that. There wasn't really a way to create a student folder easily without a lot of complicated steps and not user-friendly steps. There were other tools out there, but most things out there that I have found are great for teachers. There are very few things that do things from an administrative level. And so when I built this, the idea is district management level. Now I've since made some tweaks and changes so that teachers could use it as well. And so that's it. So basically what happens is you can create district, campus, grade level, and student folders. And I'll kind of go backwards in a second, because now you can actually do custom folder names. So this can be molded for classroom use as well. So for us, I went through the form and it asks you, set up your campus or district folder. So basically your main tier, top tier folder. So I set that up. And then it was, middle school, high school, elementary. And then below that was the grade levels at each campus. And then below that was the student folders. Well, then I realized, teachers a lot of times want to preload assignments. They want to have a portfolio for their class. And so I changed it to where now you can customize the folder names. So if you want to do it by campus names instead of type of campus or whatever it is. So you can actually go through, name those folders. And so like I said, it's district, campus, grade, and then student. You're basically looking at a 4-tiered folder system that you can use. If you could see me right now, you realize I'm talking with my hands as I count. So it can be molded and used for classroom use as well. It will also create and name docs. So when you go through and that top picture, you pick a folder name, you actually go down there and you can attach a rubric to that class or grade level, depending on this is teacher or district, level initiative. And so you pick the rubric that aligns with our template and it attaches it to that folder, that grade level. And then you can go in and create up to 10 docs to start with. And so you can go and add and create custom doc names. And so let's say, for example, kids throughout the year are going to have a personal narrative, an expository, oh goodness, I'm trying to think, a relevant writing, a free write. You could go through and create those 4. And then, once that's done, it starts to set up those folders and set up those templates. It actually will create a grade sheet for every student document. Okay, so you've set up your campus. I'm going to use high school, for example, because I used to teach high school. And you set up your campus, and under that campus, high school, you've got 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Okay, so you've named those folders. Then you decide, okay, for 9th grade, they're going to have 5 writing assignments. 10th grade's going to have 4. Junior's going to have 3. Senior's going to have 1 because they're done by then. Okay, so you've set those numbers up. You've named them. You've decided with each grade level they're going to use this rubric. Then once you get that all set up, you can actually go generate it. It will create, your district folder, your high school folder. Then inside of it, it'll create grade level folders. Inside the grade level folders, it creates a grade sheet for each and every document. So remember, freshmen have 4 writing samples. So we'll have 4 grade sheets, put all the kids' info on there, everything like that. And then inside of the student folders, as it generates those, it will begin to create each student document. And so basically, let's say you're going to have a writing initiative. At the beginning of the year, you take some time up front, and then you generate it. Now, I know a lot of people have told me, well, it's bigger schools, it's not doable. But my thought is, It's basically pulling a report, putting the info in the front spreadsheet. The other thing is, why can't for once we say we as technology administrators work a little harder, teachers get life easier. And students as well. And the cool thing is I've had English teachers get excited about technology with this, which is crazy. So anyways, you can do all that. Later on then, once you got things set up, if you realize we need to add something, you can add, delete, and rename docs. And again, it doesn't have to be writing. It could be a science class, a history class. Maybe you've got science assignment. They're doing a real portfolio and they need a science project, a history project, an art, a STEM, a coding, whatever. You can create and go from there. The cool thing is this has been basically someone says, hey, why can't I do this? I'm like, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Transferring students across campus. So let's say you've generated your folders. You're in a larger district. Kid switches middle schools. You can actually move them, and the program will move the kid to the right campus folder, create the documents, get them on the grade sheets that they need to be on, and all those kinds of things. It will actually archive from year to year. So what happens is it'll archive all the grade sheets, generate new ones, and then it'll actually, archive all the student folders and create their new ones. So that kid inside of their folder ends up, let's say they started as kindergartners. You archive kindergarten. They've got a kindergarten folder with the grade year. Then it creates all their first grade documents. Then you archive again. Well, guess what? Now they're going to have a kindergarten and first grade archive, and then their new documents. So it takes care of all that. You can open new campuses. So later on, you grow, bond election, whatever you may call it, wherever you're from, and you get a new campus where you can go and just create a new campus and set the new settings of grade levels and documents and things like that. Then you can also control the sharing permissions, meaning sharing the documents out for editing and then bringing them back. If you're using this as more of an assessment system, obviously you may want to give kids a window. So you share it and bring it back. So all those kinds of features are there. And so, like I said, it does a lot, but it all runs, very simply from the spreadsheet. It kind of lets you know what's happening when things are being created and how much progress it's made, and does all those things. Like, so the initial vision was for us as a district level doing that, and that's what we did. Well, then I sat down with teachers and they caught the vision of, oh, wait, I would like to have portfolios. I've got journals. I have quarterly science, basically projects, presentations, things like that. My communications, I've got speeches. And so they realized that basically it's a portfolio. You could also pretty much, if you've got a digital curriculum system, you could pretty much pre-push this out. I'm going to be using this kind of professional development stuff to pre-push out some documents. And again, I know tools like Classroom are out there, and things like that. But, the idea, but most of those, you're either in a group or an assignment folder. It's very hard to find things that actually carry the student folders. And so that's why we created and we built this. With that, again, I mentioned there's a grade sheet. The grade sheet actually has a grading form that launches to where, yes, you can actually, oops, sorry about that. You can actually grade and go through and fill out the form and make comments. It actually will, though, pull in whatever rubric you attach to it and go from there. So, and then you can automate the student feedback. Okay, so those are the 5 add-ons I've done so far. I do want to let you know about this, and like I said, sorry if this disappoints some of you. I have decided to basically charge for the package and plus some, and I'll tell you why. I really hadn't said anything yet because I wrestled with this all morning, really at about 1 o'clock, because I love the community we have. I love how we share and we help each other. One thing is time. As I've watched other people who develop add-ons, I've realized how much time goes into supporting them, especially globally, and investing in fixing things. And most of them are full-time. That's their full-time job. This is not my full-time job. It will never be. I like the school I work at. I like teachers and students too much. So I'm not some guy trying to find his exit out of education. Okay. Those people annoy me. And I'd get bored. So I need something to do all day. So time is one piece of it. And I've just realized that in order to make these run the way they need to and continue to update them and meet your needs, that's just gonna be part of it. The other thing is the greater good. And I know you're thinking, yeah, probably you're good. Not really. The thing is, where I live here in Texas, I know recently we've had some decisions that don't favor public schools and really schools in general when you really break it down. And so my thought has been, if I can use some of my skills and talents and times to make sure that my teachers and my students are taken care of, I want to do that. And so I feel like this is a way that I can do that and make sure that they're supported and taken care of. The other piece of greater good is I don't really want to just develop applications. I really want to help you. I know many of you, especially in smaller group situations or just because I know in technology, none of us can know everything. We all can be really smart at something, but there's usually something lacking. There's sometimes pieces missing of your team. And not everyone has someone in their district that can sit there and go, wow, this is a cool initiative, but how do we make it work? And how do we make it easy? And how do we make it cost effective? And so I want to be able to do that for you. So really what I'm offering basically is not just the add-ons, but to I want to partner with you. And as we have these conversations, we've had them on Google Plus and say, hey, I need this. I wish we had this. Just to be able to, hey, I think we can work that out and I can develop that for you. And so that sort of thing. So that's kind of, that's sort of what's going on. Basically how it works is I'm doing all 5 add-ons. I've created a private Google Plus community for collaboration and for technical support. So if you've got teachers, so basically you get them, you push them out to your teachers. They've got questions, they've got ideas, just like my teachers approach me. Again, it's kind of like I'm part of what you're doing. And which I know some bigger districts are like, we've got, more hands on deck than we can imagine. But, also for collaboration, instructionally, things like that. Any updates, new products, I'll show you some new ones we're actually working on this summer. We as in meaning, the district I work with in planning. And basically it's another team for your technology and instructional departments. I'm strange in the fact that I'm instructional technology, but I've got just enough knowledge and responsibilities that I dabble in the informational technology side as well. And so just to kind of be able to help and troubleshoot and go, are there ways, ideally through Google, because like I said, ease of use, but other web or something applications that where those things can work out. So here's some things we're working on right now. Our sub management system, as far as tracking who's been out, things like that. We're actually working on an add-on. I'm working on an add-on to help manage that next. Some staff development tracking. And with that, help desk automation. Working with my IT team, I've realized the importance of keeping track of your work. And so, well. Anyways, something happened. So working with my IT team, I've noticed the importance of tracking your work, and my instructional team that I lead have not done such a good job. So we're going to be working on some staff development automation, which basically means as a instructional support person or teacher, whatever the case may be, if you lead a session, you're going to submit it. And so basically it's going to automatically populate calendars, send out invites, because we've also had, as I'm sure many of you had, problems with attendance and staff development. And the other piece of that's going to be like kind of automating some feedback and some other issues. So basically just trying to connect, track, and automate our professional development. But at the same piece, also, sorry, I'm trying to bring everything back. Okay, there we go. So track and automate our stuff development, but at the same piece, increase engagement in it and growth from our teachers. We've also working on moving our help desk system over because a lot of people need to access our help desk now instead of just IT professionals. And so working on doing that, we're connected to Google Calendar and it can be accessed anywhere and a lot easier to use. We're also transitioning our district this year to a Google Classroom. And so I'm going to be spending a lot more time in that and developing some tools and connect to it and all those sorts of things. I'm offering 2 different packages, and like I said, it's the development, it's the team membership, it's all those kinds of things. And I'd be happy to talk with you about things because I know from a small school, I've worked in a small school in Texas and a very, very large district in Texas. So I have those perspectives. I know some of you are in other states, other countries, and you have different experiences. So I'm more than happy to talk with you about that and all those sorts of things. But basically, multi-use license, which means basically the entire package for all your teachers. Anybody can use the add-ons if you've got coaches that need to do event check-in or teachers have an event, group sponsors, coaches messaging, portfolio system. If you've got a district level initiative that say, hey, classroom teachers, you could do things with this too, automate your work, save time on grading, everyone gets to use it. $3,000 for the first year and then $1,000 recurring because it's all about, again, I want to offer the professional development, the help, the support. I know there's going to be things that need to be customized, maybe some data management tools that you want to do. We're working on easing into some data tracking with ours. And so all that goes into it, just kind of helping you roll out, get the kinks worked out as far as, teaching and training your team or your teachers. and customizing and those kinds of things. And then again, as you have ideas and needs, your teachers have ideas and needs, working to make sure that those get met for you. There's also an individual license, $100. This is one user. So example, you just realize our teachers could use some of these tools. We have no district level portfolio initiatives. So that means only one of us can be using it. So, just letting your teachers know, hey, this is an option. If you want support, if you want some tools, if you want some training, and just offering that out as well. And like I said, again, it was a long process in trying to decide, and I realized, being one person, there's some time in this, there's a lot to it. And then, so the last piece is, if you want to go check out, if you have some questions, if you want to run some things by your administrators, have the meetings or something, schoolcloudmax.com, you can see some more about those 5 applications that have been developed right now at schoolcloudmax on Twitter. You can email me right there. You can hit me up on Google+. I would love to talk with you and all those things, see how I can help out. Because I know I've talked to a lot of districts, and surprisingly large ones, who are very into technology, who are like, we can't do this, can you help us out? And so like I said, I really do want to be able to help. That really is my heart to be able to do that and to make that kind of commitment and not just kind of be the hit and run and say, well, you figure it out. So that's that. If you want to check those things out, look forward to continuing to connect in the different communities, especially, the builders and users in the GAFE admins group, and continue to help each other out. And like I said, I'd love to talk with your districts, your instructional teams, your IT teams about, what you're thinking. If you like the tools, even if we need to work out some kind of bartering system, because I know, money's tight, but sometimes there's exchange of, skills, services, inventory, things like that. So look forward to getting to talk to you. I'll post the video up. Thank you for your time. Like I said, check it out. Feel free to contact me through any of those means through the website, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. We can set up a hangout if you want to do a full webinar overview, and let me actually walk you through and show you everything works. I can walk you and your team through it, and you can kind of see it. We can talk kind of next steps. So thanks again. Appreciate y'all attending, and I'll be talking to y'all soon.